Welcome back, everybody, to the RightTouch Rundown. I am Willis Sublett III, founder of RightTouch Solutions, and today we are wrapping up our bylaws series. Can you believe it? We are 4 episodes in, and you made it through. Ha. I told you this topic was not only necessary, but it's actually enjoyable when broken down the right way. So, quick recap. Over the last few episodes, we covered why bylaws matter, what key sections you need, Willis top 7, and how to adapt them as your organization grows, because we know evolving will happen. I'm here for your success. Today, we are going to land this plane with something every organization needs: a clear look at what goes wrong when bylaws are ignored, misused, or miswritten, plus how to fix it. I'm not going to leave you out there dangling. Because having bylaws is just not enough. They have to be understood, respected, put some respect on them, and used. So let's get into these real life pitfalls. We're only going to do 5 today. I see these times and time again. I just chose 5, and how your organization can avoid them. Let's get into it. Pitfall number 1: copy and paste in your bylaws. You're excited about your nonprofit, you did your 1023, or you're working on your 1023, and you're trying to just get something out. So you went to Google. You grabbed a bylaw from somebody that looked really nice on the Google images. You downloaded it because it was free. You changed the name at the top, put a logo or put nothing there. And then you swapped out a few words because you're fancy, put a little razzle dazzle. And now you're trying to make them fit your organization. But here's the problem, my friends. When you are writing from a totally different type of organization, that was not made for your type of organization. Maybe theirs was a national affiliate with voting chapters. Yours may be a grassroots with just 3 people. You have to make sure you go all the way through. So now you may have officer positions that you do not need or do not use, membership rules that do not apply because you're not membership based, and processes on your board that you can't even explain when you're talking to those board members. This is a quick fix. You want to start with your mission and your vision and your structure, and lastly, your operations. Get those solid. What do you want to do? What is the purpose of us being here? What is our vision? How do you want to be structured? Have those ready and written. You know, I'm a big fan of writing stuff down, even if it's on a piece of scratch paper that you've done 3 or 4 times and you keep looking at it. Then you make your bylaws. Because when you do that, your bylaws are now attuned and aligned to your organizations. Now, don't get me wrong, templates can be helpful. Not everybody is a creative. You don't know what it looks like. Templates can help you manage and see what it's supposed to look like or tweak it up a little bit. But they should just be your starting point or a baseline, if you will. Now, if your bylaws do not reflect your real life work, they will eventually cause more harm than help, including potential liability. You know, we talked about Uncle Sam. Moving on, pitfall number 2: vague or passive language. Now, this is a tripper. It gets a lot of people. You may have bylaws saying things like the board may meet monthly, the president should provide oversight, the finance committee can review reports. These words may seem harmless, the may, should, and can, but they leave too much room for interpretation. They sound very polite, almost official, but they are not enforceable. Break it down to you. If every board member can interpret your bylaw sentences differently, then it's not a bylaw, it's a suggestion document. This fix happens by using direct, strong, and active language that eliminates that confusion. I'm a big fan of the 4. Must, shall, is responsible for, votes are required to. These phrases provide accountability and protect your board, and there is no ambiguity. Now, mind you, I love words and what words mean. My mom always said words mean things. So I love playing with words. So what we're going to do is we're going to dig deeper into how word choices affect governance in a future episode. I need to write that for you all because those small words matter more than you think and can provide much chaos when not paid attention to. So look forward to that one. We're going to talk about my top 7 words that we got to get rid of or modify. I like the word 7 for some reason. Number 7. Moving forward. Pitfall number 3. Bylaws are ignored in practice. So, you technically have bylaws, but ain't nobody using them. The vote happens by text. There's no quorum check. Committees make the decision all willy-nilly. And people say, well, we've always done it this way. You know, you ask questions, they say, oh, Robert knows. Go talk to Robert. Robert hasn't been president or in leadership for 13 years. Why does he still have a task on this? You go to change your mailbox. It hasn't been changed in years. So you got to find that past president because the government will not let you change it until the person whose name on there is in person. So you want to make sure that it's not tradition. It's a governance risk. Yes, traditions are nice, you know, it's nice and friendly. People who've been part of your organization for a long time, that's well and good, but that is a risk. What happens when they decide to roll out or they get too busy or the Lord calls them home? All that knowledge is lost, and now you have to start over. You have to do a lot of more forms, or you just are not able to move forward. The fix on this is normalizing using the bylaws. Include them in board orientation, your board books, your board onboarding. All 3 of those things need to happen. Review them annually. And when questions arise, open the document. When someone asks a question about voting, don't go just off your head, even if you know it. Open the document. That creates a habit, that creates a new tradition of using your documentation. Not everything needs a lawyer. Now, if you have a lawyer in your group, have them look over it. If one in your network, have them look over it. That's wonderful. Use your network. I'm a big fan of that. Sometimes you just need to read what you already agreed to. Pitfall number 4, power hoarding. I call it non-leveraging. And for my small business leaders, not delegating unauthorized changes. So here's where things can get tense. You have someone, maybe a founder, longtime board member, longtime regular member, longtime friend of the board, if you will, who you've trusted to update the bylaws without following amendment processes, which we talked about 2 episodes ago. Or they interpret the vague language to shut down a vote or push through the decision without accountability, some of that spirit of the law kind of stuff. But let me give you an example real quick. The ones with the board I worked with where the president refused to add new members, even though the bylaws clearly allowed for expansion. They didn't want to do it because they said it's not right in this season. That is not structure. That is a stall tactic. You don't want to move with seasons. We talked about earlier, facts over feelings. The bylaws are your facts. Your feelings, keep them to yourself or put them in your pocket. We want you to move what your bylaws say, not what you feel like, not what you feel like works at this current moment. And if it works for your group, then amend your bylaws using the proper protocols. Again, your bylaws are constantly updatable, but you have to do it the right way. How to fix these things? As bylaws get bigger and bigger, as I was saying, for evolving, they are bigger than any one person. Follow your amendment processes as written. If it's not written, go write it. Go vote on it and then adopt it. If it requires notice, send out the notice. If it requires those 2/3 votes, get the votes. If it requires a quorum, make sure you get as many people as you can to show up. Do those cold calling. Tell them exactly what you, hey, we're trying to have this vote. We need to have 13, 15, 17 people. Get those people there. And once they're there, change things up as necessary and move forward. And document everything, okay? For those of you who do know, the CYA. I'm not going to go into it, but look it up on the Googles. If the process cannot be trusted, the people will not trust it either. It's just like children. For those of you who have kids or taking care of kids, if you don't stay on top of a process, you don't stay on top of bad behavior and good behavior and say what's going to happen when things go wrong or things go good, so we're going to do, they will continue doing whatever they want to do because they don't have the structure. You have to be consistent in your bylaws, in your organization, because as board leaders and organizational leaders, they are looking to you for where we're supposed to go. If they know they can get away with anything, they are going to do anything. As my sister says, people be peopling. So help them. Help the people the right way. Our last pitfall is pitfall number 5. It's our hidden or inaccessible bylaws. These are the bylaws that nobody knows what they are. There's a shared drive with 3 million things, no folders. The bylaws are maybe in a binder with a bunch of other binders just getting dusty. They may be part of 3,000 different things. You're trying to figure it out. New board members did not receive them. There's questions that come up. You're going off the top of your head. You're trying to find Robert. Somebody call Robert because he may know. And then when these questions come up, someone has to scroll back through emails from all the way to 2019. That is not just inconvenient. And in some cases, it is a legal issue. We talked about earlier that bylaws are required by law. When you do your 990, there are boxes that talks about your bylaws and how are they accessible to your members and how are they accessible to your board or people who are asked for them. And if you constantly having questions come up and you have to scroll back through and taking up that time, people are going to stop asking questions. They're going to stop showing up and they're going to stop fooling with you because you are not organized. You are not an organization trying to move forward. You're still doing things willy-nilly, and that is a lot of risk that people just don't have time for. So make sure your bylaws are accessible. Store them in your shared drive, on your cloud, or in a folder, on a hard drive. I have an external hard drive that I keep most of my bylaws in. I also use the cloud. Some are on my phone for easy access for different boards I'm a part of. You need to have them at the ready. Include them in your board orientation package. Maybe include them inside the welcome email for new members and implement a written policy. We talked about in the last episode. I'll remind you, it was bylaws will be made available to any board member or organizational member upon request within a reasonable time frame. Yes, you can use reasonable time frame, like I said, but I like to put numbers to it. It brings a sense of urgency, a sense of respect to the people who are looking for them. So instead of saying within a reasonable time, say between 7 to 14 business days. That says something a little bit different because reasonable time frame, that can be a little bit ambiguous. We don't want that. For those membership-based organizations, this is not just practice, it is required by law. Members who vote must be able to read and submit amendments. They cannot submit amendments if they don't know what the bylaws are or how to do it, how to do that amendment process. So they have to be readily accessible and given upon request. If people can't access it again, they are not being governed, they are guessing. And you do not want to guess with things that are required by the law. Again, keep Uncle Sam out your business. Now, how do I keep my bylaws alive, Willie? Oh, glad you asked. Here are 4 simple habits that I want you to ingrain in yourself, ingrain in your organization, ingrain in your board culture for your bylaws to keep them from getting dusted. Highlight at least 1 to 2 articles in your board meetings just for quick review. Maybe you go into it, maybe not, but each board meeting should require you to look at the bylaws. Schedule a full review every 2 to 3 years. Update your board calendar with bylaw check-ins. One of the organizations I lead, in our interactive calendar that shows the whole year, there is a line that says miscellaneous, and that's where we put all of our things, our 990 updates, our bylaw reviews, our committee updates, our role descriptions. That way you're always looking at it in the holistic sense and not thinking about it as a sub-function. Ask openly, are we still aligned with what these words were when they were written? As Aslan said, don't tell me about it. I was there when it was written. But does it still align? Was the last time it was updated in 2019? Those words may have worked until now, and all of a sudden, you're part of a new a new partnership or you're expanding something, and now those bylaws need to be changed up. That word needs to be changed up. It's all right. Do it the right way, and you'll move forward in greatness. Bylaws are not a burden. We've seen that over 4 episodes. It's so much fun. When done the right way, it energizes you. It makes you a subject matter expert in your organization. They are tools for your alignment. They build trust and a shared sense of leadership. Not just the president, not just the executive board, but the entire organization, that entire atmosphere understands where we're going, how we're getting there, and what we need to do as we grow. Well, we did it. We wrapped up 4-part bylaws series. Wasn't that awesome? I know I had a good time. And if you stuck with me through all of it, I appreciate you, because governance is not just a piece of paperwork. It is a core part of your leadership trajectory and your legacy that you'll leave for others. You want to empower others to grow. As I always say, I want you to grow faster than it took me to grow. So if this helped you or you're bored at all, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who is building something impactful. Don't gatekeep. I want to talk to everybody. So if you need help updating or facilitating a bylaw review, you already know where to go. That's RightTouchSolutions.com. Until next time, remember, mission moves best with what? Structure. I'll talk to you all next time. Have a great weekend and a happy 4th of July.